Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2012 United States Naval Academy Leadership Conference. I would like to invite Admiral Michael H. to the stage, the Superintendent of the United States Naval Academy.
Thanks, Sarah, and good morning and welcome. I can't tell you how excited I am to have everyone here. Mitch and Linda Hart here, who've been such generous beneficiaries to us. Barbara Wilson joins us this morning. If you're not familiar with Charlie Wilson's War, you'll want to talk to her about her husband. Both members of the class of 56. I have some more members of the class of 56 here. This is a historic place, and so not only do we produce naval officers, just like your schools, we produce leaders for the nation. I'm joined by some very distinguished flag officers here, Admiral Hank Childs and Admiral Chuck Larson, who has been superintendent not once but twice here. We've got Admiral Jay Donnelly, one of my dear friends, who was at one point in time in charge of all our submarine forces. But there is a historical tie in this place, and especially in a school that is rich in historical artifacts, this place being one of them. Maurice Rinscott is a very famous graduate of the class of 38, and we've got his daughter here, Elizabeth Rinscott Parker, his granddaughter, Amy Rinscott. Thank you very much for joining us. Seth, professor, also a great nephew. There is a lot to be gained in this short conference. This is about 50 schools represented here, over 200 students. I know that you all are busy and that you'll come and go, and I get all of that. But I would hope that you would see this as an opportunity. How many times is it that you've had this original thought, something has just occurred to you, and only to find that you turned on the TV and somebody else was saying the exact same thing. And you go, gee whiz, I thought of that first, that's mine. But in point of fact, great minds think alike. And the purpose of this conference is to afford you an opportunity to exchange views and to get those great ideas for leadership, not just in the year 2012, but in the year 2050. The relationships that you can build here, and that's what I would encourage you. Conferences can be dull and boring. I understand that. That's not our purpose here. This should be fun. It should be an opportunity to kind of rib one another, because we've got some of our sister service academies here. But it should also be an opportunity. You represent some of the finest educational institutions in America. And I would offer that if you don't exchange cards and letters after this, then I will have failed. We want you to feel like this is something that you can export, that you can take back and share with your fellow classmates and your institutions. Because nobody has a lock on leadership. We are very proud of our focus on it. Just as if I had any of your university presidents, chancellors, superintendents here, they would tell you the same thing. They are all about producing leaders for the future. It is not our technology, it is not our mineral resources that makes America so strong. It is our ability to produce young leaders that will guide the nation for years to come. So I welcome you here. This should be a great time. And tomorrow's going to be, it might be a little chilly today. Tomorrow's going to be really warm. I want everybody who forgot to bring your gym gear, go down to the midshipman store and load up on all this Navy gear. I would not expect that my West Point or Air Force counterparts will do so. Our conference theme is navigating through uncharted waters. Now that's a metaphor that is so nautical in nature. It is what we in the maritime services just take for granted. It may not be as a familiar a metaphor to some of you all, but if you look at what we see on the headlines today, especially talking about the Straits of Malacca and the Straits of Hormuz, you come to understand that there are difficult navigational challenges for our nation, and they are immediately upon us, and they're not going away. And so much of it requires thoughtful, prudent navigation today to ensure that we bring this great experiment in democracy to its next successful decade and the decades to follow. But it is truly a national effort. It is not something owned by any service academy. It's not owned by any of the distinguished educational institutions that you represent, but rather this collision of great ideals. Now we are honored here to stand on the shoulders of giants. It is our great privilege at the Naval Academy, after 166 years, to honor the traditions of leadership in the naval services. But I would also tell you that there have been so many people that have stood on this stage and addressed groups, none more important than this, but nevertheless, famous people that had great ideas. In 1936, Franklin Delano Roosevelt came, and I suspect that he also spoke at West Point for one of their graduations. Coincidentally, this is the 130th anniversary of FDR's birthday. And I have a little quotation that sits in the wonderful superintendent's house here that says, "I never forget that I live in a house owned by all of the American people, and I have been given their trust." It's a sacred duty for all of us, not just those that have sworn an oath of allegiance. It's a sacred duty for all of us as future leaders or current leaders in the United States to engender the trust of the American people. And that takes covenant leadership. Today we are generously supported, and you'll find it in the flyer for the conference. But Mitch and Linda Hart are two people that have been so important to this institution, but not just this institution. They're both very successful in the corporate world. Mitch, of course, co-founded electronic data systems with H. Ross Perot, went on to now manage the Hart Group. His wife, Linda, is a very accomplished corporate lawyer, but also a consultant for the national administration. All of their philanthropy has gone to help develop future leaders just like you all. And so when I talk about standing on the shoulders of giants, I am honored to have them with us today, and most especially to welcome to the stage my very good friend and a great leader, graduate of the class of '56, Mr. Mitch Hart.